What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents.
This story's called Entitled Parent Wanted Money for Her Child but Wouldn't Accept That Our Store Had Fixed Buy-In Prices. It's a long one, boys. I work at a store that allows customers to buy and sell second-hand things, like anything from phones to guitars to pop figures. For things like phones, we have set amounts we can give based on the model and the condition. A woman, our entitled parent, came in with 3 different phones and asked us how much we could give her for them. I found a rough price for her and told her the prices could change depending on the conditions of the phones. Entitled parent seemed annoyed at that but didn't say anything at that point. I told her it would take us about an hour to put the phones through a test to make sure they all work and to wipe them of data and determine the exact price for them. She asked if she could come back in a few hours as she had shopping to do, so I just asked her to sign a form saying that she was okay with us keeping her items in the store, and she left. I tested the phones and they all worked fine. The final price for them was a little bit less than what I originally quoted because one of the phones had screen burn, which I hadn't seen because it was dead. It was only about 10 pounds less than I originally thought. So, entitled parent came back about an hour and a half later and I told her the final price and explained why the price had dropped. She instantly became angry and started asking to talk to my manager because I had lied to her and was apparently scamming her. So I went and got my manager, who was a skinny guy that hated conflict, and he explained as well that we couldn't give her the original amounts because of the damage to the phone that we hadn't seen before. He asked me if I was okay to keep serving. I was a 16-year-old 5'4" girl at the time, so he was worried. And I said I was okay, and I got back to the order. I walked up to the entitled parent and smiled apologetically, which she did not like at all. She accused me of laughing at her and scamming her out of money, and then was screaming that we were going to sell the phones for loads more than we buy them for, as if that's not how businesses work. And she was screaming about how she was going to file a report against the bimbo with the purple hair, that's me, at which point the assistant manager came up to me and asked me what was going on. This guy was freaking huge, total opposite of manager. 6'2", muscles everywhere, ginger beard, and a big booming voice. Entitled parent instantly stopped shouting and became nice and polite to assistant manager and told him that there was just a misunderstanding with prices that she needed explaining. Assistant manager sent me into the staff room to calm down. At this point, I wasn't upset or anything, just in a state of shock, and I listened to what they said. It was a few years ago now, so I don't fully remember, but it was something like this. "That young girl isn't very good at her job, and the manager was useless too. Can you just help me out with the prices?" I can do my best. What seems to be the problem?
"The girl said I'd be getting X amount of money for my phones, and then when I came back, I was told it was X minus 10, and I don't understand why."
I'm sorry for the confusion, but I assure you, OP is just doing her job. I suspect there was probably damage to a phone that she hadn't seen when she originally gave you an estimate. But I'm sure she told you the prices could change.
"Yes, she did, but my daughter's a fire cadet and this money is for her. The girl has never done a day of volunteer work in her life, and she thinks I'm desperate for money, so she laughed at me. I should get full amount because she can't do a job right." At this point, I was getting angry, so I came out of the staff room to go and defend myself. Assistant manager asked me if I'd laughed, and I explained that I just smiled apologetically, which pissed entitled parent off, and she said she'd heard me laughing and demanded all of her money again. Assistant manager was getting annoyed at this point, and manager was dealing with other customers who were also starting to get annoyed with entitled parent's incessant screeching. Assistant manager told entitled parent that the price that was given to her after she came back was correct, and that she could have that amount or take her phones back and leave. She chose to take the money, and we banned her from the store. Women going crazy over 10 pounds. Am I right, guys? I'm kidding. It was a joke about how women usually tend to care more about their weight than guys do, because guys just don't care. Am I right, guys? This story's called, "Yes, Officer, my 2 little boys and I were watching Dunkirk and someday in July 2017 at 9:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. At the local movie theater, a weekday night, approximately 6 people, me and my 5 friends, all college age.
Dunkirk is showing for a discount. Half of us are history nerds, the other half are budding history nerds. We pick a later showing to avoid the discount crowd and get seats in the very back of the theater. 10 o'clock. Budding history nerds forgot to ask us to explain the background of the movie beforehand. Why were the French and British pinned at Dunkirk? Is it a strategic point? Were they outnumbered? Etc. I and my other 2 informed friends whisper an explanation to them as the movie begins. 10 o'clock to midnight, so plus 1 day. The reason we chose to sit in the back, regardless of the movie, we whisper to one another our own commentary throughout movies. Some of my friends lack volume control, especially when laughing, so we try to sit as far away from other moviegoers as possible. We have never been told to quiet down, and we usually shush one another immediately if we get louder than a whisper. I admit that we are not perfect, but we do try to balance between enjoying our time together and respecting other patrons. Due to the seriousness of the content of this movie, we were actually quieter than normal. The closest people to us were 1 or 2 seats away in our row and 1 or 2 seats in front of us, making a mini bubble of sorts. Midnight, the movie ends. 4 friends beeline to the bathroom. I and friend number 1, who I will call Actual Weeb, collected our and our friends' trash. We walk into the lobby to wait for the others. A woman, who I will call Karen, is speaking very loudly to the security guard/officer, who I will call Asian Paul Blart, which almost sounded like yelling since we were the last theater to finish for the night and the lobby was practically empty. She has 2 young boys with her, no more than 10 years old, probably under 8. As soon as she sees us, she raises her voice. "It was them and all their little friends." Actual Weeb and I look at one another, unsure and waiting for Asian Paul Blart to say something to us. He begins to speak, but Karen interrupts them. "They were loud and ruined the movie for me and my sons. I demand you give me a refund." I ask Actual Weeb if she and her kids were sitting near us. He says they might have been in the same row further down, but it was hard to remember because movie theaters are dark and she didn't say anything to us the entire movie. Asian Paul Blart turns back to her, attempting to pacify her. Both of us, Actual Weeb and I, being the least confrontational of the group, shrug and go wait by the bathrooms. Karen is still yelling at Asian Paul Blart about getting a refund when our other friends trickle out. We explain to them what's happening and try to usher them out the door so we can just go home. Irate Mexican and Blonde Chopstick, my 2 most confrontational friends, have other plans. Irate Mexican would like to yell at Karen in Spanish, she herself is Mexican, that she shouldn't bring freaking children to a war movie, among other things. Blonde Chopstick would like to fight her in an all bark, no bite way. Designated driver, another friend, physically picks up Blonde Chopstick and carries her out of the theater. T-Boo McHighnoon, the 6th friend, and I push Irate Mexican out right behind them. We talk Irate Mexican and Blonde Chopstick out of waiting around because Asian Paul Blart was thankfully ushering Karen and her kids to the door without a refund. To this day, my level of salt increases every time I remember the Karen that took her 2 young sons to see a war movie at 10 p.m. and demanded a refund for a problem that could have been solved with a few words. Side note, Irate Mexican did get to yell at her in Spanish as we were leaving the parking lot, but I don't remember what he said because no hablo español. Oh yeah, 100%, yeah. Talk to your friends during the movies as long as you're quiet and as long as, they're not getting annoyed by you talking to them. I personally love talking during movies. I mean, I don't do it loud and I'm quiet when I need to be, but if I'm with people that enjoy it too, I like, pointing things out and discussing things. This story's called Korean Karen Says I'm a Traitor to My Country for Reading a Japanese Manga. Background. Just in case anyone didn't know, Japanese and Korea hate each other. Korea hates Japan for not admitting to what they did during the Japanese occupation of Korea, and Japan hates Korea for not moving on and using the past as an excuse to hate Japan. With the recent Korea-Japan trade war going on, I'd suggest to Google this, but it's a mess. The 2 countries can't stand one another. Me, a Korean man living in the US as a citizen, can't give 2 craps about the whole thing, and kinda like to watch the 2 nations flame one another. Here's the cast. Me, not hero. Korean Karen, innocent kid. Story. So I am at the library reading Vinland Saga. I highly recommend it. and I briefly answer a call from my mom regarding dinner. I hang up and go back to reading it. I felt like someone watching me. I looked up to see what I can only describe as a Korean Karen and her son. Now, for anyone who are fans of K-drama, she looked like one of those benchy rich moms. You know the exact type. Entitledness reeking out of her ass with a face that can give you an attitude. The following conversation takes place. Korean Karen begins with formal talk.
Excuse me, sir, what are you reading?
I answer formally, "Oh, just a Japanese manga called Vinland Saga."
I know what you are reading. I'm asking why you're reading something from Japan.
Because I like it.
Why though? Why are you supporting Japan?
What do you mean? Now speaking informally, she says,
Are you daft? They treated us horribly during the war and is currently trying to make Korea look bad.
For those of you who didn't know, informal talks in Korea are only allowed between close friends. It's considered rude to talk informal to strangers, bosses, and elders. Me still talking formally but getting annoyed. And what does that have to do with reading my manga?
You are a traitor to your country. You took a pledge of allegiance.
I've been in the US for almost 16 years. I am a US citizen and have taken a new oath.
How dare you talk back to me? I am older and wiser than you. You should respect and listen to your elders.
This is an excuse that Korean adults like to abuse. Now, really annoyed and dropping the formality, first off, I don't even know you and have no obligation to listen to you. Secondly, here in the US, respect is earned and goes both ways, not just for the elders. Korean Karen was about to say more, but innocent kid grabbed her attention complaining about how bored he was. Korean Karen reaches for her purse and pulls out a Nintendo Switch and hands it to her son. Innocent kid starts playing with full volume. Korean Karen turns her attention back to me.
You are a disgrace to the Republic of Korea.
Yes, she said the full name.
And
so you have a problem with me reading a manga, but you buy and allow your son to play on a Switch made by a Japanese company? Korean Karen's face goes red. I continue on. This is why younger generations don't respect elders. People like you who spew outdated, close-minded, know-it-all BS and not willing to listen to the other side.
I'll report you.
In English? Okay, boomer. Korean Karen screams in Korean asking what I had just said meant, and one of the librarians came over to ask her to quiet down and turn down the volume on the Switch. When the librarian saw that Korean Karen didn't understand English, he did the shh gesture. When Korean Karen still wasn't piping down, he said in crude Korean to shut up. Korean Karen grabbed innocent child and left, grumbling about how rude America was. I just continued to read more Vinland Saga. So beautiful. So American. I don't care if he's from Korea, that was American as hell. This story's called Really Sick of Fake Entitled Parent Posts, so here's a real one. I used to work in a video rental place. The rules for what you put on the screens were simple. No new releases, nothing above PG-13, no nudity. The logic was don't spoil new movies, and PG-13 was fine because anyone under 13 shouldn't be in the store alone anyway. I open up shop and in comes a mother with her daughter. They come up, return a DVD, and start fawning over the movie, telling me I have to watch it. It's based on a TV show, and it's about a teenage girl with awesome powers. I look, PG-13. I throw it on, figuring if it's based on a TV show and about a young teenage girl, it's probably fine. That's my mistake. I shouldn't have put something on I was ignorant to the content of. The movie was Serenity, a sequel to the ill-fated show Firefly. They leave, and in comes entitled mom and her two sons. They're in the store a few minutes when a scene came on that was kind of violent, with actors who look pretty scary. She comes stomping up to the counter and starts yelling at me to turn it off because her kids are scared. The two kids, probably early teen and a preteen, are behind her, embarrassed, insisting they aren't scared. I apologized profusely because I see her point, immediately shut it off, and explained our policy regarding ratings, not to excuse it, but to explain why I thought it was okay. They pick out their movies, I ring them out, apologizing the entire time. Give them their rentals for free, tell them to pick out some free candy, and credit her account for 2 free rentals on her next visit. She still leaves angry. The older kid turns to me before they walk out and mouths, "Sorry," behind his mom's back. I want to be clear. None of that makes her entitled. The scene wasn't all that bad, but she was within her right to complain. The next day I show up to work and my boss pulls me in the back. He starts asking me what the hell I put on yesterday. I told him. He tells me he got a call from an irate mother saying I put on a gore fest in front of her kids. She said it was a horror movie. It wasn't, and that the kids were up all night with nightmares. I doubt it, and she demanded I be fired. I asked him, did she tell you about the free rentals and candy I gave her as an apology, on top of the actual apologies I was doling out? Of course she didn't. She said I was smug and unhelpful and told her it wasn't against the rules. He gave her a month's free rentals while he was apologizing. He said it was all he could do to get her to stop demanding I be fired. Okay, fine. Boss leaves. Halfway through my shift, the phone rings. It's the district manager. She was just climbing up the ladder demanding I lose my job because of a 5-minute chase scene with scary-looking guys. This is what makes her entitled. I got chewed out by 2 bosses and nothing was good enough until I was gone. Never did I get fired though. I quit a few months later. This story's called Entitled Mother Demanding Gifts from My Aunt, Lose-Lose Situation. So my aunt is a very kind and generous type. She invites everyone she considers family to her parties and holiday events. I have so many not aunts because of this and have the best family events because of it. No more sad holidays full of fighting and hitting. One of the gals she invites over had twins last year and locks herself away from everyone else out of laziness. She uses her husband as an excuse. This is our entitled mother. She's been invited to every party this year. She lives just around the corner from my aunt too. A dozen events, a dozen excuses, and my aunt is done. She isn't going to invite her anymore. Entitled Mother has now sent a text saying what her little baby twins want for Christmas, expecting to get all those gifts from my aunt. My aunt has decided, no, that's not okay. She's been completely distant from the rest of the family and now has the gall to ask for a slew of presents for babies we have never even met? My aunt feels like this is a lose-lose situation. Entitled Mother will be angry at the one blanket being made for the twins, angry that she got nothing for the babies, or my aunt will be out of a lot of money wasted on a Christmas she isn't welcome to. This situation sucks and we're all angry about it. I'm sure the bimbo fit that will be thrown on Christmas Day will be amazing, but we'll see. I'll be over for that day and I might get to see some drama. You can't insert yourself into our lives whenever it conveniences you. Okay, first of all, I want to meet your aunt because I want someone like that in my life who throws parties all the time and invites me and there's Christmas cheer everywhere. I love Christmas, you know that? Because my family doesn't celebrate it. And so every time I get any sort of Christmas vibes into my life, I'm just, oh yeah, I listen to Christmas music all year round. Man, aunt, hit me up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.